We are the Wildcats, mighty, mighty Wildcats. Everybody wants to know who we are.
The first classic I attended was my first year of high school. And having heard so much about it from older friends and cousins, I was just excited to be there, to watch the game, to watch all of the people attending, and just to participate. It was just awesome.
I heard about the classic when I was in junior high school.
It was a day like no other day, that's for sure. I attended the first Armstrong Classic in '56 when my brother quarterbacked for Maggie Walker, and I had the misfortune of going to Armstrong.
Over field, I think the capacity was around maybe 1,000, but when they went to Richmond Stadium, quite naturally, it was 20,000.
This was more than a football game. It was a community get-together, and most people, they felt real good about it, even though a lot of times, you know, someone knew that someone's going to lose, but they had no problems with whatever records they had going into the Armstrong-Walker game, because they knew that it was going to be competitive and both teams was going to play as hard as they possibly could.
We always had an enthusiastic group of fans at Armstrong, and I'm sure at Walker the same thing. You know, it was school spirit galore.
It was a time of year when family, friends, people came from far and near. Those who had graduated from both schools and moved away always came home. It was near Thanksgiving, right before Thanksgiving. So it was a very celebratory time. All of the neighborhoods came together, and for miles you would see green and white and orange and blue. So it was a very jubilant time. Lots of celebrations, lots of joy.
The Maggie Walker Parade, that was fantastic. I lived 14 blocks from Armstrong. Parade would come down Lee Street up near where I lived, starting at Maggie Walker on Friday night prior to the game, and they'd parade down Lee Street in their, just their regular clothing, down Lee Street all the way to Armstrong, and parade around Armstrong and back up Lee Street.
The band, both Walker and the Armstrong band would parade in, sometimes together or one after another, and they'll parade around the whole stadium. During the time they had the Miss Walker and Miss Wildcat.
We got to ride in the convertible cars and, you know, wave to all of those who were attending the game, dressing up, and the winner received a gold pendant, which I am wearing today, and it has Miss Armstrong 1965-66 and also my name engraved on the back. So it was just a very exciting time, and I enjoyed it.
The football game between Maggie Walker and Armstrong was an outstanding event. I tell you, that Saturday, everybody got busy. Everybody had to have their little orange and blue on, their green and white, and we just strut our stuff and up and down Broad Street showing off the colors that we wore. And we had our, the Classic basically then was held at the stadium. And we had to walk all the way from downtown up to the University of Richmond. And we didn't mind doing it because during the walk, we used to show off our ribbons, and we were proud of it. And whoever won, it was accepted, you know. It was no hard feelings. And I remember one time that it was a guy had a wheelbarrow, and the guy who had the wheelbarrow went to Walker, and they had a bet going on. Whoever won the game, Maggie Walker or Armstrong, they would push that fella who won the game back from in that wheelbarrow all the way from the stadium downtown to 2nd Street. Oh, it was marvelous. It was marvelous.
Of course, they always talk stuff, but the communities were tight-knit. You know, I got a lot of friends that went to Maggie Walker.
On South Side, everything was orange and blue. If you lived on North Side or West End, everything was green and white. I mean, people had cars, they bought green and white cars, or they bought blue cars or orange cars. Crepe paper was on everything. I mean, that was from the youngest kid to the oldest. And it was just amazing because all of the neighborhood went to the Armstrong Walker game. You look on the, and when you walk out of City Stadium as a player and look up and you saw nothing, no grass, no nothing. They had a hill in the back of the scoreboard, but it was covered with people. You couldn't, no grass, all you saw was people. And the sound that you heard when you stepped through that underpass, when you heard this big roar, it was nothing like it.
It just kind of shut everything down. Broad Street was, no cars could come down there, and it was a grand affair. It really was, and the beautiful colors that everybody had, these huge ribbons made. That was a big thing. And they were huge, and with the mums and the streamers coming all the way down past your knees, it was wonderful. And the colors were just beautiful.
People in the community and outside of the community who never even attended either of the schools, Maggie Walker or Armstrong, but I think they could visibly see through the colors, through the camaraderie, through the pride, through the activities that they started to attend the games and started to get involved and started to support the Armstrong Walker Classic. So it affected the community, I think, in a positive way.
Science teachers, biology teachers, Miss Patterson. I can remember going to her class, and she used to, when first day I go in her class, she said, "I don't care nothing about you being on the football team." And I was stunned by that, 'cause I wonder where that come from. But she was just letting me set the tone before it even gets started. I expect the same out of you. You're going to do the same, and I'm going to push you just like I push the rest of them. And most of those teachers like that. That's why I remember her in particular. They play a big impact in your life. The ones that are tough, or you think are tough, they really the ones who love you and want who care for you and want you to succeed.
But the academics was the major thing. But the one thing I remember about the football team in 1951, they were undefeated, unscored upon, and untied upon. Almost unheard of in modern day football. You hear of teams going undefeated, but they didn't even let a team score a point that year. And it was pretty amazing.
They were out to win. I mean, very, very concentrated on winning.
I miss the rivalry. I miss the classic game. I hope that it will be revitalized and restored, because I think it's a vital part of the African American community and the community at large.
It would be something nice to, to bring back and have people to come out on that Saturday after Thanksgiving and have those good times,
Donald Ross, they call me Cisco around town. I graduated from Armstrong High School in 1966.
Benny Callahan, Armstrong High School, 1966.
Annie Myers Jenkins Ross, and I went to Armstrong High School, graduated in 1962.
Matthew Harris. I went to Armstrong High School, and I graduated in 1950.
Lamont Kizzy, I went to Armstrong High School and graduated in 1975.
I'm Nathan Munford of Armstrong High School, class of 1975.
Charlene Mills Watkins, Armstrong High School, graduated 1966.
Wally C. Jones. I graduated from Armstrong High School in 1952.
I'm Pierce A. Callahan Jr., son of Pierce A. Callahan Sr., coach at Maggie Walker. I graduated from John Marshall, 1988.
Was Lou Anderson Jr., Maggie Walker High School, 1951, 1955.